remove this. It's a legal requirement now. Good morning to you all, sir. Dignitaries on the stage. Warm good morning to my dear colleagues at Chandragupta Institute of Management, Patna. And a great welcome to each one of you, the most wonderful citizens of India who have been given the responsibility to police the citizens. Good morning to you all. Yeah, rose flower. So whenever I see rose flower, of course I remember all flowers in the world, all the plants that produce these flowers, the wonder of the nature process by which these flowers are hidden in the very seeds and gradually trained, I would say, gradually trained to develop themselves and finally appear through the leaves and appear as a small thing and bloom, which every flower, not only the rose flower, which every flower in the universe does impeccably, firmly, correctly, in tune with everything, completely. Every rose, every flower comes into its full bloom. This is not a fully bloomed rose anyway, but definitely it will also bloom. But even in this condition it is complete. There is a beautiful statement, not a statement, almost a kind of an axiom in English language. Most of you might have heard of it. A rose is a rose is a rose. Because a rose can only be a rose under no circumstances, as much as possible, despite even pollutions and maybe unsuitable environment, a rose would try its best to maintain, to sustain its roseness. Not only rose flower, that is applicable to every flower, as I told you. Every tree, every blade of grass, every plant, every bird, every cat. So I used to tell my students, like a rose is a rose is a rose, a cat is a cat is a cat. There is no useless cats, no incompetent cats, no stupid cats. All cats are equally brilliant, like every rose is a rose is a rose. But when we look at the history of humanity, when we look at the so-called human distribution, apparently the most wonderful creatures ever produced in the planet Earth, at least, with the 50 billion plus neurons in the brain, with no comparison in any other creatures, with the most flexible hands and legs and body process, with the great potential for intelligence and intellect and mind and spirit, and of course with the body. We cannot really say a human being is a rose, is a rose, is a rose. A human being is a human being is a human being. Why it is so? All of you can think about that. And all of you, every one of you, even I have been trying all my years to find out the roseness in me. It's very important, especially in the context of you young police officers. You might be most of the time dealing with the less developed roses. Despite being born as a beautiful rose in the womb of a wonderful woman of planet Earth, of course being born as a rose flower, every infant is so attractive. It has been found that even dangerous animals would not attack an infant. In fact, I am living in a mountainous, dangerous area with elephants and snakes and all that. I have never heard of a single situation where little babies have been attacked, because it is so much of rosiness in them, potential rose flowers. But why at least 50% of those rose flowers at least 30%, at least 10% of those reservoirs are not ready to bloom. Not only that, they are not ready to bloom. Very surprisingly, I would say surprisingly, how come such a brilliant intelligence is capable of, I would say capable of thinking about, conceiving a so-called crime. Forget about inefficiency, forget about incompetency, forget about lack of development. But with all the brains, with all the thinking, with all the cleverness they have learned, they somehow perpetrate, somehow end up doing so-called crimes, unethical behaviors, corrupt activities, injuring, intimidating, insulting, conquering, finishing fellow human beings with most of the time really no sound reasons. Even if there is a sound reason, that is again generated by some other human being who is somehow capable of harboring so-called evil. If you look at the history, in fact, really it is I suppose only the Christian philosophy. Christian philosophy talks about the Satan. I don't think no other religious perspective has been able to conceptualize an evil force in the world. There is a so-called God, and there is a parallel Satan according to Christianity. I think they understood it. Maybe it's a new religion, so they might have sensed the developing evilness in human being for no reason. I am a psychologist. Even during my degree times, I was surprised that one of the great founders of psychology, Sigmund Freud, initially he conceived only a positive force in human being, a positive energy in human being, which he named Eros, E-R-O-S, just a name. But he could, because he observed little babies, little children, always there, so wonderful about the world, so loving to everybody, even to a dog or a cat or a bugger, everybody. It is simply a flow of love. So he conceived Eros. After about 10 to 12 years of interacting with a lot of people, he added one more force called Thanatos, T-H-A-N-A-T-O-S. Am I right? Thanatos, T-H-A-N-A-T-O-S, or an evil force. And that is so true. In fact, if you really observe the world, it is the evil force that controls and regulates the balance of existence. Maybe it is the design of the nature. Now I am, for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I am teaching ethics. Of course, I am not teaching ethics. I am training students to have an ethical perspective about life and work and relationships. So I tell them that this evil is a fundamental design of the nature process. The root of evil, the root of doing something aggressive, the root to attack something is perhaps programmed in the very design and process of the universe itself, having planet Earth. For example, the so-called great whatever creator has created all kinds of animals, and there are millions and millions of varieties of other things, plants. Then why not there is sufficient quantity of food materials also? For no animal, food materials are plenty. They have to really work hard. In that process of working hard, they might have gathered a little bit of food, and other set of animals do not have it, and they may tend to attack because that hunger drive is so powerful. So that hunger drive is driving those animals who do not have the food to perhaps plunder this food, and this set of animals may have to defend that. So that's all. So you also should have that kind of an existential understanding about crime. Don't get biased about human beings, I would say. I have interviewed about 16, 18 criminals also, going to the jails, including 2-3 murderers, mostly thieves. Murderers were not easily accessible for interviews. So when I talk to them, when I talk to other jailers and other friends, They say they are all very nice people in the jail, inside the jail. Not all, of course. And in Coimbatore, I am from Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. In the jail, they have a lot of other programs. They can even join a music troupe, okay, and all that. So the point I want to say that every one of them feel good about them. Yes, sir, I did that crime, but at the core of my heart, I am good. They almost are very firmly making a statement. At the core of my heart, I am good. Then where is the problem? Nobody knows. There's a lot of theories. There's a subject field called criminology. I don't know whether you have studied in your police training. I suppose it may be there. Criminology is a beautiful subject. It's a part of psychology also. And in that criminology, somewhere in the preface, I happened to read once upon a time, it is said that Government of India or Indian Police Department is not really considering the science of criminology. Right? The book it was thought. I don't know how it is the situation now. It was about 10 years back. Because there is a science behind human behavior, whether it is evil or good. When every child is born nicely, and even when the criminal parents are telling only good things to their children, okay, even antisocial parents are talking only good things to the children, and everywhere in the culture, so-called religions and other social leaders and even class teachers and those who come occasionally to address the students, they are all talking wonderful ideas to the children. So despite all these wonderful, positive, blooming ideas to human beings for so many centuries, why crime is there? Why crime is increasing? Now there is so-called cyber crime. The cyber world came and there is crime there also. And now you know, at international levels also, we are all perhaps forced to wear this, which I have been personally analyzing. Even by February first week, I posted in my Facebook that it has been, the so-called coronavirus is a creation of the Chinese defense research. I have all the evidences. But anyway, the world will prove it. Anyway, it is not that perhaps they consciously released it. In experimental laboratories, a lot of accidents are possible, and this virus is so sub-microscopic particle, it must have somehow escaped maybe through an experimental animal. And it came first to one person, and and you people, of course. When all other kind of people are staying comfortably at home in their containment zones, you wonderful people I know, you were on the street, protecting people, making them understand the situation and managing their behaviors. So, and as I told you, there's a wonder about crimes, and when I interviewed all those people, and when I meet so many students as a researcher for the last 40 years, and I understand the human spirit, there is no contest for evil. In the sense that even the very body, the lungs, the brain, everything is working very firmly, very sincerely, very correctly, without any evil. Then why the manager of this corporation, why the leader of this magnificent machine is not able to utilize it properly for the full bloom is a matter of concern from time immemorial for all philosophies started with ethics. Why the human beings are evil. And one more thing I noticed is that nobody has taken a decision, I am going to be bad from tomorrow. Like all of us, I tell my dear students as well as others, we don't have to be really very proud to believe that we are good. In the sense that we did not take a decision one fine day, one fine birthday, I am going to be good. No. We are good because we are good. Maybe a blessing, we don't know. And they are bad, and not because they took a decision to be bad. Maybe except rare cases like company, some bad person might influence somebody. But then there is a bad. So then I think I'm just sharing my thoughts. Of late, for some 8 years, I did a lot of research on destiny, which is a very vague variable. And I also realized that when you want to understand the so-called badness of the world, which is increasing every day, to such an extent our movement on the road is controlled. We may not be aware. It Most of our activities are actually restricted and regulated and controlled by the presence of the evil around. We have to lock the doors. We have to be careful about our money. We have to be careful about everything you see. We are not even able to realize that. We are wearing this. You see, most of these wonderful people, I suppose, we are all forcibly, unconsciously controlling our own expressions because of the perpetual presence of evil forces in the environment. So that is the reality, and you are the blessed people, existentially. Out of all so many human beings, you are the, I suppose, the only one people who have the legal authority to arrest somebody. Am I right, sir? Wonderful people. You are also having a very unique destiny, perhaps doing the work on behalf of the God Almighty to prevent the spread of evil in the environment, in the society, to prevent the criminals from not repeating that, and to book every potential criminals also, so that we people can sleep comfortably and move comfortably in our life space. So I congratulate every one of you. Even I wanted to be a police. When we were children, in our location, we used to play what you call police and thief. So in turn, somebody will become police, the other guy will go and hide somewhere, we find out that person, then he becomes the police. So there is a thrill also. There could be a great inspiration, I suppose, you people might have, because you have that sense of authority to control activities of human beings. So once again, on behalf of your own superiors, on behalf of my colleagues at Chandravati Institute of Management, Patna, who will be talking about the need of managing your activities, I once again congratulate you for having chosen this profession or having landed up in this profession. Love it, feel thrilled about it, feel inspired about it, and feel great about it. Feel great about it. It is possible that you may not feel that great because there are so many police officers. If you were only one police officer, only one of the 100 police officers in this large country, you would feel great about it because of that number. Now there is a lot of police officers, so it is likely that, I am also one of the police officers. Don't think like that. You have to look at you as the only one person in the world, only one police officer in the world, and feel good about it, feel great about it, feel that you have got an opportunity to be the rose of your existence. Wish you all the best to discover the roseness in you, in your doings, in your feelings, in your thoughts, in your behaviors, in your actions, in your relationships, and in the way you talk, to everyone. Good luck. Jai Hind.